welcome to Unglamorous Truths. This is a comedy podcast about making it come hell or high water. I'm Crystal.
I'm Chandra.
I'm a Mevet.
And let's kick off the show. So for today's kickoff question is, we're going with a technology vibe today. So my question to you is, what was your AIM screen name? And what is the story behind it? So, yeah, we're going back. So I'm gonna kick us off. My AIM screen name was Crazy Cows 916. And for anyone who knows me, they know that I've loved cows actually since around the time AIM formed. It happened simultaneously. I think it was around that period when I just decided they were my favorite animal and I was obsessed with them. So I was like, oh, let's be goofy. I'm going to make a wacky screen name. So I did that. And 916 is my birthday. What's up, Virgos? So, yeah.
Yeah, mine was Just Peachy 87. Just Peachy 87. I was born in 87. I don't know. I just like the phrase Just Peachy. It just sounded chill. Like,
that's real.
Just Peachy.
Yeah.
Mine was Crunk_Superstar.
I hate you.
Yep.
I hate you so much.
I gotta own it. It is what it is. The backstory is actually worse. I was a big NSYNC fan, and Justin Timberlake said his favorite word was crunk. So I was like, okay, let's go with it.
Okay. Yes. True to the teeny bopper roots.
Disgusting.
If you had DM'd me or whatever they called
the word crunk though, because I had the shirt C.
Cool.
I had the shirt C is for crunk.
But did you also notice that there was no number at the end of it because no one was taking that screen name?
No,
nope, you didn't need a number. Yeah,
just you.
I guess that is why there were numbers. I forgot. Yeah, someone else had Crazy Cows. Wild. Okay, cool. Well, Crunk Superstar and Just Peachy. Let's get started. So today we are talking about AI. Okay, the wars are upon us. The robots are here. They're coming.
Life.
Yeah, and it's time to just face them because the human race is strong. So let's talk. There's so much to unpack here, but I'm going to start with an anecdote of something that I personally have, was paying attention to recently. I'm sure you guys were too. So recently there was a ghostwriter, to be specific, let me not mess it up. Ghostwriter 977 released a song on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was an AI song, pretty much a version of Drake and The Weeknd together. So fake Drake and fake Weeknd. Released to the internet, literally within a few hours, got over 1 million streams pretty much instantly. Because everyone was like, oh my God, a whole new single? Wow. And it was, we'll talk about what you thought about the song. But regardless, quickly it was pulled down. Because Universal Music Group swooped in and was like, what the hell? And then Drake himself posted and was like, nah, like, what are we doing? Yeah, he posted.
Yes, he did.
He posted that day.
Yeah.
He was not into it.
Yeah, he was like, okay, it's officially gone too far.
Yep.
I thought that was like the first, because this is like the second time someone made a record of him.
Yeah. No, this is
the first one he had posted.
No, he posted for this one too, I believe. Yeah, he's over it. He don't like it. So, point is, what did you feel about hearing that song, knowing that it was fake? Like, I know for me, I didn't know it was fake at first. My boyfriend played it for me, and I was like, oh, okay. Okay. I had no idea it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it for y'all? Like,
yeah, I didn't know it was fake either. And at first I was like, oh, this is fire. I was fucking with it.
Yep.
And then when I read, because I heard it on TikTok. And so in the comments were like, I can't believe this is fake. Can't believe this is AI. And I'm like, what? This sound like Drake, like the cadence.
Right.
Then I just started, my brain. I'm like, how did they do this? Like, did they pull like every time he said each word and made a song out of it? Or like, how the hell did they do this? And they're like, no, they just kind of, they captured the cadence and they're able to do anything.
Voice recognition.
Oh, that's mad scary.
Yeah, my immediate response was terror because it sounded so accurate. The same way when I heard Rihanna singing "Cuff It," you know what I'm saying? And I was like,
I thought that was a demo.
Right, she sound good. And yeah, when I heard it was pure terror because I was like, oh, they're here. It's close. It's close. Soon, next they're going to be able to do hands, and once they can draw hands, it's fucking over. It's over for humanity.
Did you hear the Drake Heated that I sent you on TikTok this morning?
Oh no, I didn't.
No, y'all, okay, hold on. Take a moment. Let's take a moment.
I was moving today.
There's an AI version of Drake singing Heated. And you know, he wrote that for Beyonce, so I thought it was the demo tape.
Don't dance.
That's not real.
Oh my God. So this is not real.
You know what's scary? What's really scary about that is like, it makes me, now I'm like, of course that's a Drake song. Like I can so hear.
Yes, it's a different tone when he does it. I'm like,
I can so hear
it's
him
a
in
different
it.
perspective.
Like, oh my God, this is definitely a Drake song. I mean, yeah, it's terrifying. I'm not, you know, I'm very anti, and I'm scared to say this because, hey, guess what? They're listening right now and they're going to attack me first, but take my stance. I'm very anti AI. I don't like this shit.
I mean, I think what was interesting to me about, like, there's so many different problems that can come up from this. Like, so one of them is just from an artistic perspective, right? Like, all of those songs that I've heard that are AI so far, they usually sound pretty clean, like, and they actually sound good, right? Like,
except the Kanye ones. But
yes,
yeah.
But almost a telltale sign of them is that they sound, they're singing better than the artist would potentially sing themselves, slightly. Like, I have a very specific ear, so I'm like, this isn't, Drake doesn't hit that note like that. And musically, I'm like, oh, he took some lessons. But then I find out it's not. It's because he didn't do it. It's better. It's actually technically better. However, even if things are better or cleaner, it doesn't mean that they're true. Like, it doesn't mean that they're authentic.
Right.
So much of art is the raw.
Yeah.
Is the unfiltered.
Yeah.
So, like, where is that going to go?
That's what's always divided, you know, like soul music from, you know, pop, right? Is that notes are muddied and dirty, and it's not about having a perfect, clean take of something. It's feeling behind it. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, like where does authenticity play a role in all of this as we, you know, as this unfolds? I mean, I think the fear I know I have is that it's just so unknown. I don't know where it's going to go.
Right.
Where are we going to be in 5 years, in 10 years?
And because like this makes me think about when I first heard about Chat GBT and like my initial reaction being like, no. And then I'm like, am I turning into like that person in the older generation that is so anti everything?
Hey, like, I'm her. Nice to meet you, Chandra. I'm that bitch now.
Like the people that are like, no internet, it's gonna be awful. Like, no cell phones, no. And then us as kids is like, you need to get with the times, baby, because it's coming with or without you.
That's real.
So, do you want to get left behind or what?
Yeah.
No, I'm very much her. I'd like to just, I'd like to have a brick. Give me my Nokia back with just Snake on it. I don't want no smartphone, nothing. I don't need none of this shit. I want Alexa out. I want Siri out. It's too much riffraff going on. But what really freaks me in terms of the conversation about authenticity is that it's just so clearly not about that. Like, this isn't about expanding art, you know, like, which could maybe be cool if that was the conversation with AI. Like, we were hand in hand, but it's just, this is so clearly about money, right? Like, this is just consumerism. This is what's the cheap way to create
that's facts.
Art.
And labor.
Yes, labor. Yes. So now we don't have to pay anybody. And then also, let me tell you, if you've watched any movie or read any book, you know that this is the first step to getting to the robot-human war, because we enslaved the robots. And right now, y'all are enslaving the robots because you don't want to pay people, because humans hate humans. And I don't know why. I don't know why the fuck.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
what
is definitely like a humanity crisis, because when you think about, like, look what BuzzFeed News shut down. MTV News just shut down this week.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got a push notification about it. And I was like, oh my God.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
And so it just makes me think, like, what's going to be the new entry level job? Because copywriters are about to be extinct.
Right. Absolutely.
This is going to be an AI job. So what's going to be the new entry level position for people coming out of college? It's not, if it's not going to be copywriter.
And you know what's crazy is I thought we had time in the arts. I thought we were going to be the last to be hit, you know? And I kept saying, well, you know, AI is going to, you know, hit what we doing last. Like because machines can't do this. Like machines can't emote. You know, they can't write feelings. We have time.
Television is like, it's about relatability. So how am I going to relate to a machine as a consumer? It's the writer is a part of the story.
Yeah.
The actors are part of the story. It's a part of the art.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be good shit. Like, it's gonna be mid. Like, I've read the scripts that were written, you know, and most of them in the beginning were completely nonsensical, right? Like,
who's taking credit? The studio?
No, it's just like people experimenting, like just regular people being like, okay, I forced AI to watch 150 hours of The Office and crank out a script with this premise. And they give them like a sentence, and then the AI writes a script. And usually it's pretty gibberishy, right?
Spec.
Yeah.
So now people are going to plagiarize specs. New writers are going to go to ChatGPT.
Well, kids don't even write their goddamn essays anymore. Kids don't write essays. So,
yeah.
But recently Deadline had one, and it was 30 Rock. They had them, you know, fed them a bunch of 30 Rock, had them write a 30 Rock script about the strike, right? And this was one of the best ones I had seen. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it was still mid. Like, premise wise, okay. Yeah, it's solid. It's very basic, very simple. Okay. But there were no jokes. Not a single motherfucking joke. And also no distinct voices.
That part.
It's just it's words that make sense, but it's no voice. It's no point of view. No spice.
And that's
no
crazy
sauce.
because I feel like that is like obviously with the WGA strike and like everything going on for writers in our industry, it's like that is a huge point of the demands is AI and specifically ChatGPT, because people are trying to, you know, help their own pockets by essentially potentially incorporating ChatGPT into the process where the first drafts of things will just start being made by ChatGPT. And so it's almost like your first draft or your breaking story would be removed, and then it would come out with something like that. And then they'd bring the writers in to essentially give the voice. But this is the thing. That still has really severe implications, because that means they're going to usually hire much less. Like, you don't have to hire as many writers when you don't need the brain power to break story. They'll literally just be like, oh, let me just get one person to just make sure it makes sense.
Mini writers room.
Yeah. This is my thing. I just hate that this world and people that are behind a lot of these inventions, they really aren't like, it's like they're so smart that they're dumb, because it's like they don't have common sense to think about, okay, what are the human implications of me inventing something that is literally going to be the thing that eradicates us, the need for us.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that much further. I didn't take it another step to be like, it's almost like inventing the nuclear missile. Why? Yeah, you can do it. But are you trying to wipe out the human race? Like, what is the point here?
Girl, when they got the self-checkouts, I know the end was coming. And I was like, and then, you know, okay, you laughing, but sometimes in the story, it blows me when the people who work there are like, yeah, just go to the self-checkout. And I'm like, bitch, you trying to make yourself non-existent? Like, you phasing yourself out. Right? You phasing yourself out.
Right.
Like, when did I become on the clock?
Yeah. Really? Well, yeah, now I got to work. Like, that's your job. I want you to bag me, please. I don't want to bag myself. You know, it's interesting because I think people have very strong opinions either way, right? And they're clearly, you know, picking sides, and the fear obviously plays into a lot of this. But let's also look at it from this sense. You said it, Meb. Technology isn't going anywhere. And in every generation, technology rears its head as the new thing, the new wave. And people find their place with it. They either are like, I'm not with it at all. They are usually children and extremely immersive in it, and it becomes their new identity. Or they're somewhere in the middle, and they're like, you know, okay, I'm not going to be over here. I'm not going to be over here, but I'm going to learn how to navigate this and learn how to adapt to this. And so a great example of that is like, you know, for those of you who are around, in 1999, Napster and LimeWire came out, remember?
Yeah. That's how I used to get my CD sale hustle on.
Absolutely. Yep. And it literally, out of nowhere, for those of you who don't know, you could download your songs and rip them. And literally, like, you went from, like, having to figure out if the CD was coming out to, like, on the internet.
And you could get leaks. You could get, that was the thing. People would leak, so you would get stuff early. Whole albums. You could get really crazy discographies that had.
I don't know how word traveled because there was no social media,
right?
To be like, a leak. There was no Twitter for you to find out, but we found out.
Barely cell phones.
We always saw it.
Girl, well, communities always talk because how we all know the same hand games with slight variations.
That's so real,
right?
That's interesting.
Culture.
But yeah. So anyway, like Napster and LimeWire, right? And like at the time, the music industry was like, we're on the brink of destruction. Like,
absolutely.
We don't have an industry anymore. Like, we have no way to control the music.
And it was fucked up.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that, so it was fucked up. It was fucked up for almost a decade, but it found its feet. Like, it's, I mean, to this day has ever evolved and changed. But now, because of streaming, they found a capacity where it's like, okay, now we can take the control back much more than we did.
And what was nice was that it kind of crumbled labels a little bit in the music industry, right? Because then you had like the golden, at least for me, the golden age of like mixtape eras, like when you had J. Cole and like Kendrick dropping mixtape, like around when they had when the freshman list, when XXL freshman list used to be valid and important. And sorry, it is what it is. But so you did have that where it made space for a lot of independent to come out, which is bomb. It broke down the system in that respect.
Yeah,
because labels didn't have the same amount of power because the business was crumbling. So like that part could be nice, that I could be here for that, but it did fuck up a lot, and a lot of people didn't make money.
And you could also argue that Napster and LimeWire is the predecessor to where we are right now with music. If it wasn't for that, maybe they would not have discovered streaming. It was it was the push that they needed to go into this direction.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would not go and buy a CD today.
Oh, I would.
I don't know. You would have?
I would definitely go buy a CD today.
If it was, I mean, who knows? That was the only thing that we had, but
because girl, I love the whole packaging. I like to take the I love the booklet. I loved all that. But with the accessibility, if both existed,
right?
I don't know.
I even heard like Beyonce's album on the CD, and I'm like, it don't really hit the way that it hit on streaming because the transitions aren't the same. The transitions are so much more seamless on streaming than it is on the album, because on the album you have to have a stop. Not, I'm talking about a CD. You want a vinyl, girl? She said you're that little. No, the act like the track changes on a CD.
Also, with getting a CD, where are you going to play it? I couldn't play it in my car. I just realized I don't have a CD player in my car.
Yeah,
no, that's interesting because I feel like, there are always going to be like things that evolve as a process of technology, and sometimes it makes a way for something that we don't even know that's coming yet in that technology conversation.
I mean, I would be down if AI was like doing stuff like dangerous cave dives to get children. Like, I don't know why that's the precedent. Like, why we're not focusing all our energy. I have a thought of why we're not focusing all our energy of having AI do jobs that are really dangerous for humans to do. Because I'm gonna tell you something, writing and acting, probably the strongest thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to have arthritis. Okay.
Right.
But fair. We don't need people doing that.
That's true.
We need people doing that.
We don't need firefighters.
And that's what makes me feel like it's just about money. Like, probably scientists are, doing it in a pure heart and really just want to see the capacity, what they can create. And then once you get money involved, once you get consumerism involved, then you got the evil person in the movie being like, well, how are we going to monetize off this? This isn't about your altruistic, what can science do? This is about saving me fucking money so I can get richer and richer, and people can get poorer and poorer.
Well, if we use Napster and LimeWire as an example of history, we know that this is a train that's not going to stop. So our best bet is to get on this train and steer it. How do we redirect it? What does that look like?
And what does it look like? I mean, I think for sure that regulation is imperative. Like, I do
Yeah.
feel like, especially just speaking for the arts, but this is going to affect everything. But like for the arts in particular, like there needs to be regulation along your own intellectual property, like owning your likeness, your voice, like everything about you. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to legalize it and make sure that like you can't rip my voice. Like I think it was some artist said, "Do not rip me in death." Like he's like, "Don't make," because people have been doing like Tupac and Biggie songs.
Yeah,
and I forget who it was. It was somebody like a rapper right now that was like, "Don't do that shit to me." He's like, "I'm gonna put it in my will." Like, you know. And
I'm hoping the people who run the estates of these deceased people are clamping down on this. And I also read that Halsey said, y'all can AI me if you want. You just got to split the profits 50-50 with me.
Yeah.
So she going to be sitting at home raising that baby.
Why the hell not? I think it was her. Let me not misquote. I do believe it is her.
I'm not mad at that. If you can take ownership of it and get paid, I'm here for it. I mean, apparently there are certain people that are already like a lot of like A-lister celebrities that are constantly busy, got so much going on with their schedule. They have like ghost voiceover people that like, you know, sound-alikes. What is it called? What's the word? Not lookalikes. Well, essentially when you can...
She said sound-alike.
Like sound-alikes. Well, you can imitate their voice. Thank you.
Impersonators.
Vocal impersonators. There we go. That will do their like commercial VOs for them, or if they have brands, they're not the voice. Like there's a Beyonce voice impersonator that literally will like jump on and do her own like stuff that she's attached to because she's so busy. So it's like there is a business incentive here where if you're smart, you could be like, okay, it's going to go through these pipelines. And yeah, if you want to use my likeness, you will absolutely be paying me every single time.
Bro, that shit is darkness. People gonna run crazy with your shit.
It just made me think about like if someone is doing a pilot presentation for an animated series, they can use AI to get the voices. Like you want Amanda Seyfried, like
it's gonna destroy animation, man. Well, they're just gonna connect.
I mean, but it's just a proof of concept, right? Of like in the same way in our pitches, we'll say the characters and we'll say this type of person.
But what if it goes into production? Do you think that they would just use a vocal recognition and not hire actors to voice the parts?
See, that's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna make it even harder for newer people to break in, right? It's just gonna make it even harder, you know, because it's gonna just continue the cycle of let's use things that are known, and now it's even easier. We can use things that aren't even human. Like, you know.
How do you feel like how do you feel like we could have regulation around the visual art component of this? Because that's also freaky. Like I remember that I saw this AI art. Have you guys been seeing these AI art?
We all seen the Pope wearing Balenciaga.
Yes, literally. The
Pope wearing Balenciaga. Oh, that was the big one because it looks so real. It looks so real. A lot of people were very confused. The first time I saw it, I was like,
it's going to make the police officer's job really difficult. I mean, their job is already ridiculous. But catching crime? What?
Girl, everything is about to be a fucking mess. Like, have you heard about, the Pope wearing Balenciaga, the only thing about it that was, when you look real close, the hands are fucked up. Because, you know, hands are very hard to draw. And AI has not quite gotten the hands yet. That's what I'm saying. Once they get the hands, it's over.
Check the hands.
But have you heard about the scam that people are doing using AI? Like, basically, if you've ever had your voice on the internet, which everybody in this room has, they can pull your shit and be you. And so people are calling people's parents, being like, I have your child.
Oh, I did see
and
that.
And they're hearing their kids in the back saying, Mommy, help me. Mommy, help me.
That's going to be the new potential scam phone call.
Yeah. Like hijacking.
So don't answer calls you don't.
This is the thing. We're going to have to enter the world. And I think just flash forward 5 years. I think that the culture of engaging with the outside world is going to change rapidly. Because I think we currently, you know, we've been fortunate to grow up in a world where like you believe what's presented in front of you unless proven otherwise. I think we're going to enter a world that's going to reverse, where it's like I have to go out and engage with the world, and I have to question if everything is real until I have proof of what it is.
I think
which
there
is
will
wild.
Be regulation in regards to morality.
Do you?
I do, because with technology like self-driving cars, there are departments dedicated to the morality of it. and developing the technology around that. Because I remember I met this man, and this is what he did for a living. He developed AI morality. And I was like, at that point, I didn't even know, at that time, I didn't know what that meant. And I was like, what kind of job is this? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, think about it. Like, you have a self-driving car. I run the team that determines when it's a yellow light, does it speed through or does it stop? That is morality. Or if it's a green light and there's a person crossing the street, what do I do? I have to actually teach this robot how to behave. And then, like,
that's fascinating.
What is it, like, reducing, like, damage? If, you know, that thing of, like, you're on the train track, do you save the 5 or do you take the 1? Like, you have to build that in with AI, because sometimes there are things that are just completely unavoidable. And you have to program it on how to respond to these kinds of situations. So I think the same thing has to happen in this new evolution of AI. Like, how do we protect people in their likeness?
Yeah. I guess the cynical part of me is like, the people that are in charge of regulations, legislative wise, are so old, white, and tired that, like, if you just look at the composition of the Senate, and, like, they don't even know what, I mean, they might know what's been going on, but I feel like they're asking their, like, niece or their grandchildren, like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean,
because they're so out of it.
The trial they had with TikTok, where they're like, "Are you on the Wi-Fi?" And that man was like, "Excuse me, like, are you on the Wi-Fi?" And I'm like, "Well, if the user is on Wi-Fi, then yes. So then, are you accessing things?" Like, they thought they were really stealing through Wi-Fi.
That's
and I'm
what
like,
I'm saying, girl. That's what I'm saying. If these are the people legislating for us, and they're this behind, I have very low,
because all that is run by the 1%, and I have very little faith in the 1% to do the right thing for the 99%.
Absolutely,
it's not, because it's not even in their best interest. Why?
It's greed. Greed can control all of it.
I mean, they can't take their focus away from the trans people. Like, they are busy oppressing them.
Oh, and drag. We got to be worried about the queens, what they're doing to the kids.
Obviously, it's like, to me, I actually feel like that's. I mean, conspiracy theaters later, but that's a political agenda to distract us with something that's foolish, and it's like, we have real issues, like, that have real smoke. Like, you need to be creating legislation about the robots. You need to be looking at our economy, like, you know, and obviously, you know, you could say that they wouldn't want to just, like, remove employment from the masses, because then there would be there has to be some level of balance. It is in your interest, even from a greedy self-interest, to not lay everybody off with robots, because then there will be widespread panic, chaos.
Who's going to pay the taxes?
Who's going to buy the products?
Right.
There's no money.
Yeah, who's going to pay them taxes?
Who's going to profit?
Yeah. And so the bar has always been unemployment needs to be in the single digits, which I believe it is currently, but I don't believe that. Who knows who came up with that ratio. But they said it's under 10% right now. But imagine with the evolution of this, where that number could go. So I do think that someone is considering that, because that is how economies run. So it's like, okay, maybe greedily they'll consider that. But
I mean, also then I feel like there needs to be a push to create new types of jobs, right? Because I oftentimes think of, well, even though I would love for AI to press to take over to dangerous jobs, right? So the people in factories, I don't want people getting hurt. But then what about people who rely on manual labor for work? This is, what they do. So I don't want them to be left out of the conversation. So I do feel like we need to, like, figure out a way to push to create new types of jobs for people, like you said, that are entry level, that aren't all so heavily tech focused, because we might not all be geared that way.
Well, then they're going to have to, like, create education and courses and trades around managing AI. It's like the same way that there are people now in the digital space that are making sure, like, e-commerce is running. It's
Who's
like
accountable by AI errors?
Right.
Who's accountable? Because human error is the person who made it, but AI is not perfect.
Nope. And they're gonna have to have someone in that department. Yeah, it's a lot. It's
like
a lot.
When the Tesla, like, ran through. Remember that incident when Tesla ran through something and ravaged it, and it's like they were all trying to come for Elon, and he was just like, "This is not, like, I'm not liable for this." So then, who is liable?
Right.
Well, girl, that's rich people. Never responsible. Never take accountability.
But when
that's the tricky thing. When AI does it, well, then who? They're going to be like, well, just go fight the robot. Bitch, you know I can't fight a robot. They strong as hell.
But who's going to be accountable if you tweet one like, I'm dead, and then AI goes, Chandra Russell, dead at 35.
Right, because they don't understand humor. So
right.
They're literal.
Right.
So who's going to be held accountable?
Nobody. And you know what? I'm not going to be held accountable for shit, because if I do something, I'm going to say AI did it.
Period.
Yeah. That is like, really good. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. I didn't do nothing. AI did it. I'm just trying to live my life. Literally. That's not my voice.
It wasn't me. Yeah. Well, you know, I have also been thinking about this. Like, you know, we are millennials. And I would say in our generation, we're known for having a childhood outside of technology. Mm-hmm. And then literally I would say our generation is the single greatest generation to be introduced to technology so in such frequency and at such rapid rates. Because yes, our parents had technology that evolved in their generation as well, but it was like the phone and like getting a car phone.
We watched the internet.
We literally saw the introduction of a computer in your home. No one had a computer at home. I remember when I got mine, like not mine, but for the house computer when I was 10 or 11. Then we saw the introduction to, you know, AIM, to throw it back. We saw the introduction to social media. There was no such thing as social media before us. Like literally Facebook came out.
Yeah, what's up with y'all Black Planets?
Black Planet. Okay. Dating.
Top 8. Who's in your top 8?
Literally, you know? And like, so we've seen the introduction to cell phones in our our generation. So my question to y'all is there such a thing as like technology introduction fatigue?
I don't think so.
Like,
I mean,
well,
maybe.
I'm saying personally for you.
Oh, personally, yeah.
Not
and I'm like,
large.
it's been historically, this is how life goes.
Yeah.
And maybe each generation had their own form of it, but like historically, we've gone through it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really pretty clear where I stand on stuff. Like, I'm just so... Because new stuff pops up, and I'm like, why do we need a new version of that? This one worked just fine. God damn. Like, there's a lot of other shit you could be solving right now. So, I'm probably not the
Chandra
best
was
person
like, a stove? Why do I need that? I have fire outside.
And ain't nothing wrong with that fire. It worked for the caveman, it worked for me.
I guess for me, I really do. Sometimes I have to just take a day to center myself, sit down, or maybe sleep, because just my head is spinning from all of the changes. It's not just technology. It's just like every day right now, it's rapid fire. It's just like things are changing so quickly. And I do feel like there's certain personalities that lean more towards like being okay with that. Like very adaptable, very like get excited by understanding things and being in the mix. I think you're more like that. I think you're definitely not. And I think I'm more like you or somewhere in the middle. But like, I think there are personality types for it. I think that certain people are like, oh, cool. We on this? I'm going to do that.
And to be clear, I like helpful things. You know, like when I deem something helpful, you know, then I'm like, great invention. This was smart. But, you know, when I just feel like, I don't know, it's just like a money grab. Like, okay, you just improved upon something, so I have to buy a different version of it.
Apple.
You just changing the cords out, so I have to, then I'm irritated.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because I'm like, here, you're just robbing me.
Yeah.
At this point. And
it's a different level of disruption.
Right. And don't disrupt that. No, we don't need that. Yeah. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier. Disruption.
That's their thing. That's like, especially in the tech world, it's like, how do I disrupt? And I mean, a lot of the disruption has been extremely helpful. Like, think about it. Like, Uber, Lyft. I mean, you fucking name it. And we just have to find that medium with where we are right now with AI.
And I think we as people, as citizens, as humans, have to really keep our foots on the next. And the tricky part is, like we were talking about earlier, we don't even know who's next the feet need to be on, but we got to first off research that and find that shit out, so that the relationship between AI and humans is amicable, right? So that we are figuring out ways to expand society in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
and boost the economy and not deflate it.
Yeah. Right. Just people need
jobs.
Yeah. So if you guys out there, if you know who whose next it is, go, just write it in somewhere.
Yes, and we
send
will
us a message.
Step on them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with the big boot.
There we go.
So let's transition to a section called Bootleg Fabulous, which is like where we spill our life hacks and ways to, keep things going in an ever evolving world. So for today, this is just more of like a cute thing because I actually really, this is a question I genuinely want to know the answer to. I don't have it.
I don't have the answer.
So, in such a rapidly evolving like tech world and society, what are ways that you find to manage like kind of, I have an example. So my question is, it turns out that the average human has 90 online accounts. 90 across all bills, credit cards, logins.
Probably,
Easy.
to be
It's
honest.
90.
All your apps.
Yep, 90.
Mm-hmm.
So how do y'all manage all those damn logins and passwords?
Oh, I can't tell y'all because then y'all gonna hack.
Know how to hack and break into it?
Because it's basic as fuck, guys. Like you just need one way in and you can ruin my life.
It's just like, I don't even want to say because I'm just really gonna make myself sound like the crazy witch in the cave who is anti-technology.
You have a notebook?
Yeah, I wrote it down, but because I did used to have it online, and then I just started to get paranoid about getting hacked because I'm always getting all these messages. Oh, is this you? Is this you? Is this you?
Yeah.
And having to be like, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. Who the hell's trying to sign into my account in the Maldives? I ain't never been there.
Right.
So that shit started scaring me. I'm like, I don't want that. So I did write it down. It's in a very special place in my home. But I know like a friend, she has this, this one app. I think it's called like 1Password or something.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is sign into that app, and then you can have all your other ones in there.
Yeah. They do have something, password manager. Yeah. And literally it's like a double authentication. It's like supposed to be pretty sealed up for you. Yeah. But once you get in, you have all of your passwords in one place. All right, that's it. I think we're wrapping up. I hope you took something from this and aren't afraid, but hopefully hopeful for the future. Like one of our fans, or someone commented on one of our videos and said, "What's the best thing that could happen?" And in any scenario,
Yeah.
And like, let's remember that. Maybe there's something that's going to be, unfolding here where there could be something positive coming out of this that we're unaware of. What?
I just thought about the best version of AI.
What's the best version?
Okay, so the best version is they create a super doctor that can transport babies out of your body without laboring, and it's very healthy.
Magic?
Essentially, but they'll do it with AI. Because look, it's all going to end up looking like magic anyway. Look at Star Trek.
Can we at least just take a moment to appreciate the things that we do like about technology and AI?
Mm-hmm.
The efficiency of it all. Like, it is so intuitive. Like, I actually like, it is scary, but I do like when I ask somebody about something, oh my God, like, where'd you get that? And then you tell me what it is, but then, like, obviously I didn't write it down, and tomorrow I go on Instagram and all I see is this top. I fuck with that because I'm like, thank you. You did the work for me.
Oh, well, we're different.
Interesting.
That feeds my
I'd
paranoia.
be like, I will be like, oh my God, that is creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
But like,
so you're gonna be a robot sympathizer?
you.
Okay, I see what side. What side?
No, we're managing so much in life, and if you can take one thing off my fucking plate, I'm happy.
Well, that's fair.
I like how it gathers information in one spot. Yeah, that's really cool.
I think that one thing I do like is it has the potential to do labor for you in your life with your jobs and your work, because there is ChatGPT has an interface, a plugin now, where you can literally give it something to do and it will create essentially like the version of an online course for you. So for me, I have a business. Like, I could literally take that and be like, hey, come up with all these online modules for me. Yep. And then show me what it is. And I don't have to sit here and invent it from scratch. I can come in and just look at what you got for me. So it does make life much more convenient as long as I have a job.
Like I used to hate when it would finish and when you were emailing and it would finish your sentence and be like, you want me to finish? I was like, hell no.
You don't know what I'm trying to say.
Right. I'm the voice. But now I'm like, it's amazing. It's just like so a part of my day. Yep, go ahead and finish that. Now it's only going to be one sentence long anyway. We don't need to jazz it up. You know?
There's a YouTube, I'm going to find it, of this one guy going through all of his favorite features that technology has advanced in that have helped his life. And one of them is like, if you have multiple tabs open, there's a speaker on the tab that is playing audio. Because you know, like when you're like, where's this sound coming from?
Yeah,
you can look at the tab. You'll show the speaker.
I need to see that.
That happens. Girl, you can do that on your browser.
Well, you got to
update your browser.
Me. Y'all know I don't know how to do shit.
Update your browser.
Yeah, whenever and you're like, where the fuck is this music coming from?
Yeah.
You'll just look at your tab and you say, oh, it's coming from tab number 4 because it has a speaker on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at
And it's like, wow, there was a time where you had to go through each one and say, which one is fucking playing an ad?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm still going through each one.
Yeah.
Chandra,
So, okay.
Chandra.
All right. You know, she gonna figure it out.
Just
Pray for Chandra. pray for her. A technology blessing. All right. Well, that is our show. Thank you for joining us. We are on Unglamorous Truths. So I'm Crystal. You can find me at _Chris.
I'm Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
I'm Amebit. You can find me at AmebitBNA.
And you can find us at Unglamorous Truths and stream us wherever you find yours. And in particular, make sure that you subscribe to Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And show us some love. If you love what you're hearing, you love what you're seeing, drop us a little comment. Because a little comment goes a long way in our game. So thank you for being with us. And
all our AIs out there, subscribe AI.
AIs.
Yes, come on,
subscribe.
Bots.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.